Enjoy all your favorite sports like never before at BetMGM. Sign up using code Hawkeye and receive up to $1,500 back in bonus bets if you don't win your first bet. When you register with BetMGM, you'll get instant access to a variety of parlay selection features, live betting options, player props, and the best daily promotions in the business. And with BetMGM at your fingertips, every play and every game matters more than ever. Place your money line, prop, and parlay bets with the king of sportsbooks today. BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly and offer resources to help you make appropriate choices. BetMGM.com for T's and C's. 21 plus to wager. Iowa only. New customer offer. All promotions are subject to qualification and eligibility requirements. Rewards issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets. Bonus bets expire 7 days from issuance. Please gamble responsibly. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-BETS-OFF.
Grab your drink, roll your papers, wind down, or speed up and get to work. It's your girl Shan with season 6 of She Gets It podcast. I'm with all of y'all as we navigate this new world we got. We are all adjusting to these new changes. Let's go. Somewhere around here.
I don't know. Yeah, it's the pull-up part 2.
The pull-up part 2. I don't know, like, there's so much BS that's being discussed, and there's so many things not being discussed. So it's a good time. You know what it feels like? It feels like when you go to the fair and you know there's some stuff in there that you don't even care about, but you know it's in there, and it's like a whole bunch of chaos. That's what this feels like right now.
It's beautiful though. That's the crazy part. Like
it is because I'm like. Truth is being said.
Oh, truth. It's finna get, the funny part is it's finna get worse because it's like, you want to know what my honest opinion is what's going to really tip the scale and what's really going to freak people out? Magic. When people find out magic is real, they're going to lose they're going to lose their
But are they going to think it's real? You know, I think we're going to struggle with the group that doesn't want to believe even though they got the facts. And then we're going to have the group that going to be like, man, I knew it.
It's great because it's like that's what everything is. Everything stems off of old spells and rituals from like these old white people that just refuse to just let stuff go.
Or stop saying that one is spiritual and the other one is witchcraft when it's the same thing.
Oh, it's you just hit people, and then it's like on Twitter or whatever. People get mad because I tell white people they can't do light work, which they technically can't. And Nick Cannon explained like what he was talking about. A lot of people don't realize like he pretty much gave y'all the truth in front of their face, but a lot of people he pretty much told all melanated people that they got powers, and you know, of course, the coon black people came out of nowhere. Well, why did he say that for? Like, bro, he just told you have powers. And you asked him, why did he say that?
But why is that something to be offended about?
Because that's the thing. People don't, when you see individuals say stuff like that, it's like people tell on themselves. So it's like, our blood is worth more than anything on this earth. For the simple fact, we are who we are. We have melanin in it. A lot of people don't realize, like, when you have melanin, it's like you wearing a space suit that comes with powers if you know how to use them correctly. And that's why it's like they've been trying to use like our melanin to make spacesuits and stuff out of and all that or whatever. Like they've been doing. That's why all these black people going missing. People don't realize like sex trafficking and organ trafficking is like
the main reason why people don't need. You could buy the same thing on the same site.
Yeah, and that should be real. People don't realize like how deep and real and actually widespread, rampant kidnappings are connected to both of those things.
Especially here in Atlanta.
Ooh, damn.
Atlanta has a lot of child trafficking that they're dealing with for the last 6 years. But I think last year is when it got really loud down here about it. But I feel like because Georgia is so divided, where you know, maybe Atlanta wants to be a major city, but Atlanta can only be a major city if all of the other counties cooperate, and then you have some counties that don't want trains running through. Then you have some counties that do.
That's crazy. I never knew Atlanta. Hold on, Atlanta is in multiple counties.
No, Atlanta is in Fulton County, but Fulton County is really big and wide. But in order for Atlanta to be
to prosper,
a well-functioning city, quote unquote, like they plan to do, you can't cut off outside access into Atlanta and just have, you can only drive through it. You can't. So it's kind of like the people who feel
it's limiting the potential.
Right. So the people that feel like they're in a position in life where the train is below them and buses is below them, they don't want to see it in their county. So every time they want to expand the transit system, they block it. And one thing whoever were like the engineers for Atlanta is, I don't think they prepared for it to be this fucking big. So now it's kind of like you have all these fucking people but nowhere to go to get off the exits and shit like that. So this is just a lot of stuff down here happening.
That's interesting because it's kind of, Cook County is very interesting. I'd say it's one of the worst. It's got to be top two one of the worst top two counties in the United States of America.
Why you say that?
Like it's because it's like obvious. They call it, like, if you come to Chicago and if you say Cook County, everybody gonna change the word up and be like, oh, you mean Crook County, because everybody know what go on behind closed doors or whatever. Like the mayor of Chicago, I think the mayor of Chicago and the mayor of Atlanta is the worst two fucking mayors ever. The worst two fucking mayors ever.
I feel like they line their pockets when the price is right. So that's why they flip flop.
That's exactly.
Like
even
you can't. This man hid all the correct numbers of COVID-19 just so businesses can open up. And then you're gonna say that those numbers were incorrect. No shit, Sherlock.
Because you raised the numbers with and that's the thing with politicians, man. It's like we at the point now. It's like everybody know you lying, right? So why the fuck do they continue to get on national TV and lie to us in our face on a daily basis? I do not know. I do not know.
That's why I don't really pay attention to it too much. It's like a circus. It's just like a real human circus right now, and I don't feel like they're not filtering nothing. You either see it, you take heed, or you don't.
And that's when magic finna come into play. That's the crazy part. And people don't even realize, like, we use magic on an everyday basis. They just don't realize that they use it. Like me and you using magic right now. We talking. That's a form of magic because you can cast spells with people just by having a conversation with them. Or whatever, or even saying certain things to cause them to react. That's a spell. That's magic. Like even when you write the word out, they call it spelling. Spells, magic. Like they put it in front of our face, but we too ignorant to realize that they put it in front of our face. Like Hollywood, people don't know what Hollywood actually represents. For example, like the word Hollywood is an actual holly tree. And a holly tree is like what Celtic priest or whatever.
Why is everything going back to them? They so creepy.
They are. It's split up because it's like this. Nick Cannon was hit it on the head. Once again, it's 13 families in control right now. And it's like they all mixed with like different descendants because it was like it started with the Khazars. The Khazars, after they empire got destroyed or whatever, like they low-key fled into like all the European countries. And when they fled into the European countries, that's when all these European countries stopped fighting with each other and was like, you know what? We got a bigger enemy at hand. It's the niggas or whatever. So that's when they all came together. Yeah, that's when they all came together, and that's when like the slave trade and all that shit started or whatever because of that. So it's like they put a whole pyramid order of power into play, and that's what masonry and all that shit come from. Like people don't realize like these families actually do run all this shit, but it's like people don't want to believe it. They don't want to believe like your whole life is based on
comfort in a blanket and some hot cocoa and ignorance.
It is, but at the same time, shit, you tormenting yourself each and every day, low key.
Yeah.
That's what I be feeling like, because when I started thinking about to like when I was lost in this shit and was not aware, I felt like I was in hell. I ain't gonna lie, it always felt like something was missing.
Because you wanted answers.
That too, and plus at the same time, I was trying to find my purpose in life.
Oh yeah. It's kind of like, you know, with all of this, you can't just read one book and take it. You got to read one book and have a book to explain the verbiage and what it stems from. Then get another book to make sure like this is facts. It's real research.
Excuse me. And, you know, it's crazy. I had a conversation with somebody about that earlier. They asked me, because I ain't gonna lie, I used to be an Israelite. I started off as a Christian or whatever, and then as a Christian, first off, I hated Christianity. I hated going to church, all that shit. It just felt awkward, but it was like I was forced to go for like, since I could remember, until I turned like 18.
At some point. Yeah.
Until I turned 18, like it was always uncomfortable and weird, if that makes sense or whatever. So it was like I kind of stepped out of that box and started searching, and then I bumped into the Israelites. And when I bumped into them, I kind of started reading the Bible more. But then I realized I'm like, this shit ain't nothing but a Harry Potter book. Like they changed the characters' names around. They changed. My thing is, people be like, well, God made this person write it. Like, first off, God was a male. Second off, if somebody changed one detail in a story, that story is not 100% accurate.
Right.
So if it's a pink vase that was originally in the story and you change it to a blue vase, that whole story is voided right there. Because it's not the truth or whatever. And I had to realize that shit as I started getting more into it. It was just like a lot of hypocritical stuff I was reading or whatever. Then like watching all of these Israelite people interact with each other, and it's like they all pretty much, it's like they be having like the dumbest arguments. Like they just sit up and argue Bible verses back to back. Like they randomly be picking Bible verses from a chapter. Now remind you, a book is like a chapter, really. I kind of compare the Bible to Harry Potter for the simple fact it's the same shit. Just a long ass story or whatever. It's a story from beginning to end. It's the same shit or whatever. And that's just how I viewed it, because it contained like a lot of hypocritical things, such as don't worship any idol or any symbol or whatever. Like Christians do that shit. Like shit, the Israelites do that shit.
Yeah. My thing is all religions are connected, but when they start like getting different is from what those leaders or those people of power at that moment want to purvey to like everybody else. Like, this is it. No, this is it. No, let me show you in my way. This is it. And it's kind of like, shit, if that's it for you and you feel more connected to it, more power to you. But I don't necessarily feel like anyone should be forced into a religion or told this is truth. No, this is your truth. I think I'm allowed to find mine. And that's why with my kids, I don't drill God, Jesus, Mary, the story of Peter. I'm not doing that. I have seldom conversations of what a God is what an angel might be, what it's explained to be. But as far as like, make sure that, you know, you have like godparents and make sure you get baptized, I'm not doing that because I don't feel a connection to that as my truth. So who am I to throw that on a child?
Exactly. And people don't even realize, like, when they go through all that, like that baptism, the christening, they don't even realize, like, that's a whole ritual.
But they want to separate it.
Yeah, but it's like you don't even realize, like, you participating in the whole ritual and you don't really know why. You just going off of what they telling you. Mm-hmm. So it's like, if you don't understand anything, if you don't understand history and like a lot of sciences and stuff outside of that, you just gonna be a lost individual or whatever. And plus, it just limits you because, like, when people who read religious books such as the Bible make it seem like you have one lifetime to do a certain thing. When actuality, it's kind of limited to you. Like, you can do several lifetime worth of things in one lifetime.
But that's the thing that always blew me about the Bible is you have a book of different experiences by different people that you don't know, that you're taking word that this is what went on, right? Mm-hmm. And then you have a book with no today, Americanized, let's create daylight savings time and all of this extra shit, and let's put the clocks back an hour. Those people of that time, who's to say they were functioning on your clock?
Ooh, you talking about time now. That's
man-made.
It is, because people don't even realize, like, this is not even a correct, 2020 is not even a correct year.
Yeah, that's a whole thing.
Yeah, people don't realize, like, the year 2020 is a Gregorian year. Meaning that's like the Gregorian year, the Gregorian calendar comes from Catholics and the Pope. That's something the Pope instilled or whatever. Mm-hmm. So it's like when they did that, they fucked up a whole pile of shit when they did that. So it's like, it's hard as fuck to try to go back all of those years and try to add up all of the missing time, the phantom time or whatever. You ever heard of like the phantom time concept?
No, I've heard of the word, but never had it explained.
Phantom time is the belief and theory that it's not really the year it's time missing, or they lied about the actual date and year of what it is or whatever.
But you know, that would make sense though, because they didn't come up with this COVID-19 vaccine this year. They came up with that early last year, and it didn't really hit until like this fucking spring. So it's kind of like, wouldn't that benefit them if they were controlling the time, that they had X amount of time to keep us busy in these fake holidays that we feel like are coming up?
And those are rituals. And people don't realize holidays are rituals as well. So if you celebrate a holiday, you participating on with that ritual too.
Right. So, you know, they keep us busy like that, and then the real time of what's on hand, it falls into line with their agenda of what they want to roll out. And right now we're seeing that more than ever, because we don't have the people in place to say this is scientifically irresponsible to give people a vaccine that has not been tested.
Exactly.
And that is backed by so many different tech companies that want to steal human data and put in chips that basically track us, connect us to a wireless device that gives like all feedback. Like if you would do a system download on your computer, it would be a system download of our bodies, our blood type, our blood pressure, what is our health. Imagine that being connected to your insurance. We're only going to insure you up to this point because the way you're taking care of your body is trash. Or your life expectancy pertaining to this app that's on here that's connected to you. All of that is going to be able to be transferred through this
But
vaccine, and they're not.
that's fucked up.
It was a doctor that was explaining that today. All the companies backing it that were funded by Bill Gates or associated with Bill Gates that have all these, little ins and out of what's going in this vaccine, and it's crazy because once how she explained it, she was like, once a certain chip is interchangeable in your DNA, it's generations of your DNA that's affected. It's not a one-time thing. I'm just like, yeah. Like, what do you do? What do you do? What do you do? It's crazy.
I was finna say this. Okay, now I got a question. Now we talk about the COVID shit. Like, honestly, my complete belief in it is I don't think it's a real disease. I just think it's just a name. I don't think the disease exists, period, or whatever. And why I say that is because what was the first place you heard it at?
The first place I've seen it at is a Lysol can.
No, the first place you heard, like, where originally did, like, what was the first country to get, like, the first case, period? Like, it was China, right?
What they were pushing is China.
Yeah, so when the first case was reported in China, like, you can look these articles up, I promise you. Like, the first case was reported on, like, November something or whatever, and some told me to look up when did 5G go active in China. 5G went active in China literally, like, 2 or 3 days before that first case popped up. They have
so many people pushing it's not connected. I'm just like, yeah.
It's connected. That's the thing. People don't realize it's connected because it's like, it's too many holes in it. And it's like, people don't realize, like, the common, like, if you look at the COVID-19 side effects and if you look at radiation poison side effects, it's the exact same side effects.
And even, okay, so let's say someone is not a believer. Even so, why is it so much needed or pushed right now that people have it or countries carry it? And why is it the elite people who are wealthy, not rich, are wealthy, are campaigning to not have it in their community if it's so good?
It's like, what, 5G?
Yeah.
Exactly, because people don't. Okay, it's like this. They say it's like this. Okay, this is what 5G really does. Life is based off frequency, just off that. Like, our body, like, it's whatever. Energy. Yeah, like, our body is receptors or whatever. So we constantly processing information at every present moment in life, whatever. That's because we're communicating with nature. It's automatic off that for us to communicate with nature, not knowingly, because it's our common sense, it's our spirit or whatever. So the communication happens through frequencies or whatever. So 5G is pretty much a frequency or whatever. But at the same time or whatever, these frequencies have information that travel, like a whole pile of information that travel to get towards these electronic devices to get them information in order for them to access these networks or whatever. So our body is absorbing those same waves or whatever. So when those waves hit our body, it goes to our brain. So it's like our brain is trying to process. It's like, okay, I don't know what this information is, so I need to get rid of it. So in the process of it trying to get rid of it, it's working even harder. It's working 2 or 3 times harder. So imagine an old person and the effects like that, all that information is having on their body. Of course, whatever they sick from already is going to be enhanced. And that's why it's like they saying, like, it's affecting Black people so heavily. It's because we eat like shit already. We already, diabetes running rampant in our communities. We don't take care of ourselves health-wise or whatever. So they started putting 5G in shit. Motherfuckers started dropping.
But that's what the doctor was saying is what they're actually putting into the vaccine is considered a cancer cell within the body, but they changing the verbiage.
What? That sounds stupid.
So basically, they're giving people these quote unquote antibodies within their body, but not knowing the side effect because they're not testing it on animals. They're just giving it to people. They're not doing any type of trial or anything. And the outcome could possibly be blown up worse than what your initial issue was to begin with, because they don't know how long it's going to take to react with people's bodies or how it will react with people's bodies. It's kind of like them just creating a drug and just throwing it out there, not knowing the side effect. But they legally already gave companies the legalities to be like, oh, we're not responsible for X, Y, and Z side effect. They already gave them like the skate for that, so you can't even sue anybody after it. It's crazy.
And I did a reading, like since the last time I've been on the pull up, it's like a lot of interesting things that happened to me. Like I relearned how to do like tarot readings or whatever. So it's like now I ask a lot of questions that be on my mind or whatever. So it's like I get a lot of direct answers and where to look for information about it from or whatever. So pretty much the vaccine, it ain't nothing but nanotechnology. Yeah. And what the nanotechnology does is it acts as a receptor to the information that the 5G networks is putting out, and at the same time it's doing something to your DNA or whatever. And people don't realize that, like, if the melanated people don't step up and do what we supposed to do, then it ain't gonna be no profits after this generation.
Or if you have profits currently, it's not gonna mean shit.
No, I'm talking about profits. It's like people who's like special abilities, like melanated people or whatever. Because this is the thing people don't understand about melanin. They're changing
the DNA. So with them changing DNA, of course they're gonna take the things from you that they want to play with.
Exactly. And that's the whole purpose of it. The whole purpose of the coronavirus is a cover up for 5G network and a cover up for all the child sex trafficking, prostitution rings, and organ trafficking going on or whatever. If this name I'm finna bring up, I do not like this nigga. Like, after what I recently found out about him, dude is like the ultimate coon. And it's like, if you look at all the black men, the powerful black men that's ever been around him or had some type of ties to him, they either end up dead or in jail.
Oh, gosh.
And we talking about Mr. Louis Farrakhan.
Oh, man.
Minister Louis Farrakhan. That man's involved in organ trafficking and child sex trafficking. He's really responsible for Larry Hoover. Okay, it was like this. I did some research, right? I wanted to find out about this Kanika Jenkins murder case or whatever, because it was so much mystery behind it. Like, the fact that I knew it was a cover-up, because the video they released was edited, the whole thing was edited, and you can clearly tell it was edited. And what bothered me about it was, if I could tell it was edited, and if you look at it, you could tell it was edited, then the police know the shit was edited. So why the fuck would y'all get on that video to post to the public of an edited video unless you trying to hide something?
Or you want to make it seem like they dotting I's across the T's.
Yeah, and the crazy part is a lot of people don't know, like, that whole area she was in is called Rosemont or whatever. And so pretty much Rosemont is like a suburb of Chicago.
What was this?
It's like this was like three years ago. It's like a whole pile of stuff behind it. Because I'm gonna get to it. But yeah, that whole area they was at or whatever, that whole hotel party took place. It's like in a suburban town called Rosemont, and Rosemont got like the second biggest airport in Chicago or whatever. So it's also like a mini Las Vegas, because it has like a mega outlet mall. It's just a lot of money in that area, and that area is known for organ trafficking and child sex trafficking or whatever. And so after she got killed or whatever, a lot of people were saying like that whole situation was weird. So it was this one dude named Zach TV or whatever. I don't know if you ever heard of him or whatever, but he was like, I wouldn't even say a YouTuber or a blogger. He was just like, he went to like every bad neighborhood in Chicago and was interviewing like artists from those neighborhoods or whatever. And so he ended up interviewing like 2 or 3 of the girls from that party or whatever. After the interviews went up, I think like a week or 2 weeks later, he got killed.
The guy got killed that was doing the interview?
Yeah, it was on video how they killed him. They chased him down while he was driving. They ran him off into a sidewalk. He crashed into a pole, and they got out the car and just shot him till he was dead.
Well, you know what? I'm very skeptical about leaders of religious groups or groups of faith, because there's always something tricky about what they represent that didn't show what they talking about. So my whole thing with the minister Farrakhan is what he says. It sounds good. It would be good if Black people could come together on the levels that he pushes, and I like the look of the uniformity. But what I will not get past is the fact that there's a whole documentary on Malcolm X and how that all went, with the great Elijah Muhammad being praised. And just like Gandhi is praised, but basically admitted to having sex with relative women to see if he can hold back, his great. Yeah. And I had just found out this recently. So basically he would force himself to sleep with women, family members, also girls, young girls, and see if he could hold back. And see if he could hold back his urges, like attest to himself. What? And he said he couldn't. He failed multiple times. And people praised him, and he also was with like white power and superiority over Black people. And he would talk down about Black people and also Native Americans. So it's kind of like these leaders, I feel like they show a side that they want to show, but nobody wants to explain the integrity behind this great Elijah Muhammad of what his reality wasn't. That man moved like a mobster. That man was talking spicy about what he wanted to do to Malcolm X. And I'm just like, how can y'all skip over that?
And this the thing, this the thing about like the Nation of Islam, especially period. Like they always, to me, have been mysterious, even from the Prophet Elijah Muhammad, like how he just all of a sudden got on the plane and never came back. He just disappeared. It's always been mystery around them. Like it's just always like how been like
Malcolm X killer has businesses in New York and just comfortable walking about with the New Jersey governor, I think, and he didn't even know who he was, and he in a whole commercial with him. I'm just like, how can y'all scream integrity and brotherhood and sisterhood, and y'all basically attempted this man's life multiple times and finally got through, and all the proof is there even today, and y'all don't want to talk about it. That's something y'all want to talk about. They always say that. They be like, yes, and then the exact answer be like, we don't need to talk about that. That's a dangerous subject. Like, wait, what? Nigga, what? It's kind of like they made like this thing where like it's done, the job is done, you don't speak on it, don't bring it up, don't even discuss it. I'm just like, how something not adding up.
And it's crazy. It's crazy. Like that whole situation kind of remind me of, you remember the movie Belly with DMX and Nas?
Yes.
You remember when DMX got locked up, but they let him out to kill that dude or whatever?
But they wanted him to play a false prophet.
Yeah. So I look at it as kind of like in reverse or whatever. Like that whole situation. Instead of trying to kill him, they went to recruit him or whatever.
Yeah, they
because
did.
Because I had to do some interviewing with some old heads to find out some information or whatever. Because I asked the cards, did Louis Farrakhan have anything to do with Larry Hoover and Jeff Ford getting locked up? And it said, yeah, he did. It pretty much said he sold them out or whatever. It's like a whole story that go along with that. It's like in Chicago or whatever, like before, like now, like it's gang wars in Chicago, like all the fucking time or whatever. Like Chicago is like this. In the city, the gangs go by blocks, but when you get to the suburbs, that don't exist, because it's like shit. You could be a GD stand next door to a BD or a Latin King or such and such. Like, you know, in the suburbs, it's like a wild, wild west, but in the city, it goes by blocks or whatever. So it was like, at one point, all the gangs in Chicago was under one uniform or whatever. So Larry Hoover had like 40,000 GDs under him. Jeff Ford had like 30,000 BDs under him. And then you had all the rest of the other gangs. So them two gangs off bat was 70,000 armed black men working under one unification or whatever. So it's like, if you think about that, if all these dudes is working together, it's like communication gonna be going through, you're gonna be organized and all that stuff. So it's like the violence is gonna be down because people are gonna be trying to communicate to see how to best handle situations or whatnot. And so this old head told me that Jeff Ford had ties to the Nation of Islam. And I never knew that or whatever. And he was like, yeah, he was like, a lot of like people my age be saying like that Farrakhan had something to do with that. He pretty much was like an informant and snitched on all of them or whatever. And after he snitched on all of them, that's when Larry Hoover got locked up. That's when all the leaders from all those gangs that joined this one, all of them got locked up at the same time. And the person that benefits from that the most is Louis Farrakhan, for the simple fact, now he can hire hitmen from different gangs or whatever and not be traced. It's like he taking advantage of he takes advantage of that chaos all around, but at the same time he try to make it seem like he's not a part of it. But this the thing people don't realize, like how you can tell he's a servant. Like after Malcolm X got killed, he switched his whole tune up and started talking about Christ. That's a fucking red flag right there. That is a red flag. So it's pretty much, it's like he telling you like, yeah, I've been sold my soul. That's why he starts talking about Christ or whatever, because a lot of people don't know Farrakhan is pretty much in the masonry, low key.
It's just like, that shit is just so messy.
It's gonna get worse. Like a lot of stuff finna get exposed. Like it's crazy as hell.
His body is deteriorating though.
You said what?
His body is deteriorating.
But his face not. His face still look like a goddamn baby booty.
Because he probably using women products on his face. That man.
Hey, and you know it's funny. Somebody else tweeted me the same shit, because I was like, that nigga is sex trafficking and child trafficking or whatever. He was like, of course he be fucking on them little kids. That's how he stay young. I'm like, damn.
Jeez.
I was like, damn. Just like that. He was like, yeah, bro, just like that.
A man with the slick back in old age. they ain't never up to no good all the way. Woo!
He said, a man with a slick back in 08. Hell.
They always up to it's just like that religious shit is like the more truth you start to know, the more disgusted you begin to be.
Yeah, it ain't nothing but MK Ultra. Like, if people don't know, people that's listening to this, if you don't know what MK Ultra is, it ain't nothing but mind control. That's all it is. And that's what religion is, like the earliest form of mind control, if you really think about it.
I don't know. I'm one of those people you ain't about to convince. Just show me the truth and let me find it for myself.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. It's a lot of it's a big ass snake with hella heads right now.
It is, but the crazy part is it's all finna get revealed. Like that whole, a lot of people don't realize like that whole Tory Lanez and Meg Thee Stallion situation. That was some real. That was some real shit that's happening, but they not saying what's going on. But the grapevine, I heard she was at a Kardashian party. Okay.
You know, Tory Lanez, Mr. Shortman himself, he been too comfortable. He been having hella people up at his place, and if y'all supposed to be quarantined and social distancing, and then Kylie got a baby at the house, why would you want to be in a pool with mainstream celebrities at this time?
That's what I'm saying. Like somebody brought it to my attention yesterday. It was like, why does she have to go to the hospital? Like, I didn't think about that part until I actually sat down and thought about it. I'm like, why did she go to the hospital if he got arrested for having a gun in the car? So I'm like, something had to happen. Today. Yeah.
I just saw the video today. She was shot in her foot. I didn't know she was shot. And to be honest with you, I don't care about what people with gobs of money do, because we can't have the same discussion.
You're right. But at the same time, it's like some of us are on our side. Or whatever. It's like at this point I can tell who is and I can tell who ain't. That's the crazy part.
I don't know. He should already known, like, sir, you enemy number one. You own your own masters, you hella short, you a black man, and all white men and other cultures of people feel like they can take you. And to have you locked up and in the system will be their glory day, to know that a man had everything and he was so close. Yeah. So to me, like, why would you be so dirty and reckless?
That's what I'm saying. It's like, I don't think they was dirty and reckless. I think something went on where they had to hurry up and get the fuck up out of there. And that's what I'm saying. It was some whole pile of shit that went on that they not trying to disclose right now. Some major shit happened for somebody to pull out a gun and just start shooting. Like, some shit had to happen.
Who was supposed to pick up the coke originally? Why it take 3 people to pick up some coke? Cause that ain't no that's about to pick up this weed real quick. Sir, you are Tory Lanez. You should send somebody for that. Why are you in this big vehicle and you gotta hop in? And what's going on? Okay,
so my deal is,
chick came out the back seat in her drawers. I'm just like, honey, where are your shoes? You just jumped in the truck.
I know. I think she took her pants off because I think she took it off with her foot.
Oh god.
But yeah, I didn't know. Like, that's what raised the red flag to me. I'm like, oh, this nigga Tory Lanez got arrested. Whatever. Yeah, fine, get the fuck out, beat his face or whatever. And then somebody was like, yeah, babe went to the hospital. She was like, that shit's weird to me. I'm like, damn, she went to the hospital for what? And she was like, they not saying what she went to the hospital for yet. And I'm like, damn, that's weird as hell. Like,
the company you keep, man. The company you keep. But you know what? But when I saw her fat, soft, look like fresh baked donuts ass in that pool with that girl putting on that man head, I said, she about to run into some shit this week. And what do you know? She in another pool with quote unquote A-list celebrities that have been around hella people during this quarantine, and look what happened.
That's true as fuck.
You should stay at your house. Ain't nothing wrong with your pool.
That's true as fuck. But honestly, I think she was on a mission, low key.
Megan?
And I think the Kardashians had something to do with that shit. Megan, I honestly think so.
They made sure they got clear out that story.
Yeah, they had something to do with that shit. Because it's like, you gotta realize, it's like, People don't realize what the Kardashians really, really be on.
Listen, they don't need no more airplay. They benefit.
They done.
Too much. Kris Jenner was like, you know what? This is not going to be good for my business. Therefore, I'm going to send your ride to pick you up.
It's exactly how I don't know, but I feel like shit, if you got any dealings with that family, you curse yourself fucking with them. I feel like the only two people who walked away with a W against them was Blac Chyna and Tiger. I'm the only two people I can say they got a W. Other than that, the Kardashians is scandalous as fuck. Like, scandalous as fuck. Like, they'll be friends. They'll have friends.
She's a whole new person.
Yeah, she
like that whole phase down to her pinky toe gotta come with a new social security number. Like, I don't even know who that is. How you got so much money that you can go in a doctor's office and come out a new person?
That's to me, it just shows a lot about her personality.
That's beyond self-hate. Like that's beyond to have a family where they be like, yeah, girl, go with that face. That's much better. I like that on you. So, your mom don't give a fuck about what your children are going to grow up and have. Because that chin that you're running away from, they might have that shit.
That's true.
What you going to tell them to go get their face done?
That's the thing.
I'm confused. Are we talking genetics or no?
This is the thing. Ladies, if y'all listening to this podcast, we gonna clear the airway right here and right now. There's nothing wrong with wearing weave and makeup. But at some point, if you feel like you ugly without the weave and the makeup, you have a lot of self-hate going on.
Yes. That's
all I got to say about the weave and the makeup thing. Like, I have no problem with women wearing it, but at the same time, it's like, if you feel like you need it to look good all the time, you have some serious self-issues.
Listen, there's a lot of women that feel that way. I don't know. I just be thinking about their children. Like, their children are going to be so stuck and fucked up. Like, your whole life for the last 20 years is on television. And we can see how your face and your body started to change. And we can see your grandma allowing a stripper pole to be put in your house. So your aunties, your young aunties, can play on it because your sisters thought it was cute. Like, we can see your transition from your dad turning into a woman, or your grandpa. We can see the transition of who your father was before he met your mom. Like, what are we doing in that house? It's not healthy. This shit is crazy, but you know.
It is. It's like, people don't realize, like, what get pushed in front of our face and what our subconscious takes in. Because it's like, our mind runs like a computer 24 hours a day. So it's like, anything we see, it goes into our memory banks. It goes into our subconsciousness unknowingly if you don't pay attention or whatever.
The Matrix soon.
Yeah, it pretty much is that. Like, if you sit down and think about
karate, make me download karate. Okay, I know karate. Like,
and the crazy part is you can do that. Like, when I've been on this journey for, like, spiritual journey for, like, I want to say I was awoke when I was in high school, but when I graduated, I kind of got lost and spiritually died in a way. But when I turned 25, I instantly woke the fuck up and came back with, like, a vengeance. Because I realized I was kind of undercover, but didn't realize I was undercover, if that makes sense. Or whatever. And it's just like,
to yourself.
Yeah, it's like, you know, people got to go through life and experience certain things in order to grip certain type of concepts and perspectives in life, if that makes sense or whatever. And I felt like that whole dead period for me from like 18 to like 25, it was like a learning curve of what I didn't want to be in life, if that makes sense. Or whatever. So I just took that and started building with it or whatever. And it's like now I'm at the point in life where I can kind of understand a lot of things, especially as far as where we come from. Melanated people, like a lot of people don't know, they don't put two and two together. And why I say like melanin is the key to the truth or whatever is because you got to think about it like this. What does melanin absorb? Sun. So what is the sun? Like, what actually is it?
It's an energy.
It's a star. Yeah, it's a star. A sun is considered to be a star, right?
Right.
Like, I promise you, if you don't believe me, you can look on Google. Google would be like, yeah, the sun is a star.
You
or
know,
whatever.
Biology.
Okay, so.
Not the planet.
Yeah. You funny. But nah, a lot of people don't realize, like, we left science by ourselves, like ancient melanated people civilizations, especially like origin stories, like the Dogon origin story. You ever heard of that one? Well, the Dogon is like an African tribe in Africa or whatever, and it's like they have a very accurate story of how life came to be or whatever. So pretty much everything is frequency, right? So our soul is our soul or whatever. It's pretty much plasma energy or whatnot. So if we get energy from the sun, which is a star, so that also means that our subconscious is a star. So it's like when you see stars at night in the sky, that's one of our ancestors' subconsciousness. That's why it's so many or whatever. And so that's where we specifically come from or whatever. Like even if you look at the back of a dollar bill and you see a pyramid, right? At the top of that pyramid is always an eye.
Right.
But everybody try to say that eye represents God or whatever. In a way, it does or whatever.
People love bringing God into money, and it has nothing to do.
Yeah, exactly. But in a way, it kind of does, but not the way that people think it does.
In a control way, yes.
Yeah,
but
there you go.
Not in any way of consumption, because that shit is worthless right now.
It is. It's fucked up to say, but it's fucking worthless right now. People gonna say, why did you go and tell the truth? That's what people gonna be responding. You have to listen to this. Why did you tell the truth?
Well, that's.
But nah.
If they take it as truth.
Yeah, but that eye on the top of the pyramid represents a star in the sky looking down at Earth. Like, I kid you not, if you Google the picture of a pyramid from an aerial view, the pyramid looks like an endless hallway.
It's infinite.
Exactly. And people don't realize, like, if you start looking at things from like an aerial perspective or whatever, you start to see different meanings behind it. And you start to understand more of it. It's because you're looking at it with a different perspective or whatever. And that's just another way of describing of how your subconscious is when you awaken your third eye or your common sense or whatever. It's like you can see things from different perspectives. And so that's why they pretty much we star people. We don't die. We always come back to life.
Well, Africa is the only continent where the whole world can still fit. Like if you put all of the continents together, it could fit in Africa.
Yeah, I believe it.
So my thing is like, how is that not your starting point?
It is. Honestly,
there's always like continuous resources and war going on in the hottest place on the planet.
And that's very true. And you know what the fucked up part was? It would be even more better if we go back to when Africa was just a whole ass forest. Like everything was covered in green.
Oh yes.
Especially the Saharan desert. Like
they steal from it. They take from that place.
Exactly. Yeah. But peep this. Everything is frequency, right?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I feel like the reason why the Sahara Desert is that way is because the people that were supposed to be there in that particular area left or whatever. And why I say that is because the Sahara actually means a desert, and a desert means left, meaning somebody left that space, deserted. That's why they say, like, when people run off in the military, they call them deserters or whatever, because they left or whatever. So my theory is the reason why it turned into a desert is because the original gatekeepers of this earth left that land and it threw the frequency off. And people don't realize, like, a slight change in frequency can affect the whole ecosystem.
That's why places that didn't get like shocks and earthquakes getting that shit.
Yep. And it's ooh. And it's another thing they ain't telling nobody. Yellowstone. The volcano.
Volcanoes creep me out and they're so fascinating at the same time.
Oh yeah, that volcano finna erupt, low-key. They just ain't telling. I mean, they telling people, but people ain't paying attention to it. They so caught up in the celebrity drama, the coronavirus. It's just so much shit. But it's like, I got Google News or whatever. So it's like anytime like some dumb shit trending on Twitter, I just go to Google News, because 9 times out of 10, it's like it's some other shit going on that they don't want you to know about. That's why it's other dumb shit trending or whatever. So it's like every time I go on Google News, I always see an article like every day talking about Yellowstone earthquake. So it's like pretty much in the area around it, it's like 2 or 3 earthquakes every day.
Since when?
Like the last 2 years. And yesterday, a couple of scientists came out and said that Yellowstone is going to erupt within the next 12 months.
12 months? So it's just not being talked about?
It's not being talked about, period. Like they got articles and stuff constantly pushing out every day talking about it, but people don't know how to focus. Like they keep falling for the same fucking trick over and over again.
So remember we were supposed to get those asteroids. What happened to the asteroids that hit Earth? That's quiet.
The asteroids? It was never asteroids that hit Earth. People don't realize. People don't realize they just be.
Whatever they said was supposed to hit Earth, and it was kind of like it was supposed to happen, or it happened, and then it's just like hushed.
Yeah, they lie about a lot of shit. Like the planets, like Jupiter, Saturn, those are not planets. Those are stars.
Anything they tell me about space.
Yeah, it's stars. The planets are stars. People don't realize, like, astrology makes the calendar, because the calendar keeps tracks of stars. Because people don't realize, like, stars really affect our moods. People don't realize that to the extent, because it's like, okay, think about it like this. When we feel some type of way, what do we call it? A mood, right? Well, the word mood originally came from the word moon. And the moon is our dark side, which is our brain, which is our creative side, which is our art side. Like, you can't have art without darkness.
But you gotta be resistant to something.
Exactly. But you gotta, and then that's when it comes into place. Like, you gotta realize you are a star. You are a star, right? So what does a star do? A star is a light that dwells in darkness, that lives in darkness. So, like, for example, now, if you close your eyes, tell me, what do you see?
Light.
What else do you see?
Darkness.
Exactly. That's like space. It's when you close your eyes, it's like space. It's because it's like it's endless. Like you can't see the end of nothing. It just feels infinite.
I don't know. Like to me, you would be an idiot to feel like you are not constant energy, because when you go to the doctor and they tell you to stop talking, breathe in, breathe out, they're listening for something. They want to feel something, and then you start to feel yourself on a higher level than you were when you were talking or when you were moving around. And it's kind of like, why wouldn't you preserve that?
Exactly.
Why wouldn't you stay your ass put?
Exactly.
Unless you feel like you need to go X, Y, and Z. And that's why I feel like when you say to yourself, okay, I'm gonna get ready, I'm gonna put on my shoes, I'm gonna go to X, Y, and Z, and you do everything to get ready, and you get to the car, and then you're ready to turn the key, and you realize you forgot a wallet, or you forgot the paper that you needed for the whole point of you going out the house. I feel like those moments are like protection moments, where the moment that would have happened 3 seconds ago was not for you. So let me put you back into the place for the divine thing that's supposed to happen for you today to get set up. So whenever I'm like almost leaving something, or I remember something, I have to go back, I don't trip, because I'm just like, well, this was probably supposed to happen for a reason that's greater than me, so I'm gonna allow it.
And that's crazy because you hitting it right on the head with it. A lot of people don't realize that shit. A lot of people, look, I had to when I reawoke, I had to unlearn so much shit. It was crazy. One of the things I had to exit out of my vocabulary was the word coincidence. There is no such thing as a coincidence in life.
Right.
Like everything, like even if you look to your left right now, look at the picture behind you on your left.
Mm-hmm.
On the back wall.
Mm-hmm.
Ain't no coincidence, right? You're looking at it for a reason.
Right.
Life is wonderful if you pay attention to it.
If you allow it.
Exactly, and that's the
people
thing.
People try to make it into something they want, and that might not be even your purpose.
Hey, and that's the thing, man. People be trying to like, life, I want to do this and I want to do that. It's okay, it's cool that you want to do that, but at the same time, it's like, is what you want to do lined up with what the universe purpose is for you? Because what the universe has lined up for you is going to keep you happy.
It's just driving and noticing and being aware, because you might mess up and turn somewhere and be like, dang, that's where this thing is, or I was looking for that. If I ain't coming down this street, I wanted that X, Y, and Z. Like those are meant to happen things. I just
like even people don't even realize, like when you see a lot of things, like even animals, for an example, animals have spiritual meanings as well. So if you see like a cat walk in front of you or something like that, it's pretty much like it's a spiritual portal just open up around you, or it's got something to do spiritual wise, whatever. Like even if you see numbers are infinite.
Today I woke up at 33 on the dot.
Yeah, start looking it up. Like with time, this is how I do.
I was like, okay, I'm supposed to be guided by a spirit today, and be
that's me.
Like a spiritual message, and that's what I've been on all day. And I purposely didn't leave the house because there was nothing I needed to leave the house for, so I just let it be and just like chill.
And you know it's crazy. You are telling the truth. Again. That's why I fuck with you, sis, because you always be 100 about it. Always. Always. But yeah, people be shooting themselves in their own foot. And before I'm gonna leave this interview with this, or this podcast with this. So-called Black people and African American people, stop calling yourselves that, please. Stop calling yourselves that, because it ain't. Those names are names that they came up with for us.
For ownership.
Exactly. They came up with it for us is because we were lost with no identity. So they gave us identity. That's why they teach us all this bullshit about slavery, and the only thing they ever taught us about ourselves was slavery. That was it.
I agree.
So that's my call to.
I'm all about people researching it for yourself.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like when I be giving people information, they be like, "How do you know this?" I be like, "Dude." And it's the thing. Like
ask somebody. Like, come on.
Yeah. I'm like, I either help them, or if they being a dick about it, I just tell them like, go do your own research, bro. Like it's simple to Google. And this is the thing. Like people be asking me, what books do I read? I'm not even gonna lie. I don't read books. The last book I read was The Destruction of Black Civilization. And that was the book that woke me back up. I'm not gonna lie. That book woke me the fuck back up or whatever. So it's like, they be like, then how do you find out all your information or whatever? Because it's like my intent, like I know what to look for. Like if you can develop a question about something, or if you have a question about something, if you can develop that question in a way, you can ask the internet. And some places don't give you.
People don't really know how to use the internet or use their smartphone, that they think they're so goddamn smart and they not. My thing is, it's not hard, and if you really want the answers, you can find the answers. But the crazy part is that people that's really questioning you about your sources are the same people that if you did tell them your source, they would just shrug. So why the fuck
they wouldn't even look it up?
It doesn't matter.
They wouldn't even look it up. Like a couple of weeks ago, this white dude tried to argue with me about melanin. He said melanin is not important. So I'm like, dude, what the, like, bro, like y'all kidnapping us, y'all doing experiments on us, y'all trying to use melanin to make spacesuits. Like, and that's why I asked the question again today. I'm like, how much is melanin worth on the black market? And I heard from between $300,000 per gram to $1 million per gram. $1 million fucking dollars for a gram of melanin.
Google your value. Period. That's how we'll end that there. Google your value. It was like, damn. Like if you think about it, like shit. Like I smoke, so it's like I instantly compared it to the size of a gram of weed. Oh God.
So I'm like, I'm thinking to myself now, imagine yourself spending $1 million on a fucking gram of weed.
Or imagine having the power to not allow people to know their worth and just make them feel like they're worthless and just pick them up.
Exactly. And that goes back to part 1 of the pull up when I explained what an entity is or whatever. And it's like, that's what the magic trick is. They get people to claim they birth names. And people not even knowing, like our parents signed us over willy-nilly, like, okay, yeah, you got a baby and all that. And then I found out from this one chick, she used to work at the hospital and she used to process paperwork or whatever. And she told me, she was like, when people from other countries like Asia, Arab countries, India countries, and European countries, when they come over here and get their citizenship and have kids, they can put the country on that child's birth certificate. But if you black and your people come from Africa, they don't let you do that.
What?
Yeah. I was like, wait, what? She was like, yeah. She was like, I was peeping that. I'm like, it was weird or whatever. So I did some research.
Is that on a purpose or basis of giving that country ownership of?
No, it was just, they do it to keep fucking up our family tree bloodline to keep us lost. So it's like you can't find a paper trail going back. Like, so say for instance, like a Chinese, like say for instance, like if an Asian person parents died or whatever, they can simply look at their birth certificate and see what country their parents came from or whatever and go back. But the African don't have that option because it ain't on there. So it's like at the same time, it's like they covering up a paper trail and doing some old other shit with it or whatever.
Per usual.
Yeah, like always.
I don't know. I feel like there's gonna be more to talk about. There's gonna be more that's gonna pop up. I feel like I'm just watching. I'm gonna watch. I don't want to ride nothing. I don't want to hop on nothing. You go ahead and you enjoy, and I'm gonna watch.
And that's what I be on. I just be sitting back pulling cards, just asking questions about shit, and I'm like, oh, okay. Y'all go have fun with that. I'll be over here.
Right. Best for this. Good stuff. Yes, I want you to look up that Gandhi stuff. That was crazy.
I'm about to do that now because I never knew he was out here.
To the point where Africans are pushing to take down his sculptures in Africa.
I don't blame him. Shit, take all that shit down.
It's crazy.
Take all that shit down.
Ooh. Well, thank you, sir.
But no problem, man. It was a pleasure. I feel like we're gonna have to do part 3 real soon. I feel like part 3 is gonna be some crazy.
There's definitely gonna be more truth that they're finding about people, about leaders.
It's gonna get reckless out here. And what I mean by reckless, people, y'all not going back to y'all regular life. For everybody listening to this, is what's finna happen is either finna make
regular.
Yeah, it's gonna make or break people. So if you want to be one of those individuals that it makes, better start looking to the universe and finding and reaching out to your ancestors so they can lead you back to where you actually come from or whatever. Because it's like right now, everybody's on one accord, even the ancestors. So it's like, shit, you either on board or you gonna get your ass left here. That's just how it's gonna go.
Well,
or whatever.
Thank you very much. You want to tell them where to reach you?
Yeah, just follow me on Twitter at Lucifer_the Gawd, and it's spelled DAGOD.
Yes, and if you're interested in why the name, question the man if you want to.
And I do.
You might not like the answers, but he got answers.
Yeah, I mean, I can give people a logical reason. It's just up to them to either accept it or not. I really don't be caring if they don't accept it. It's like, if you don't accept it,
Nothing about acceptance is just like, state your question, I'll give you my answer. And that's why I'm just like, if you have questions, good. That means your mind is working.
People, I also do free readings also. So if you want a free reading, just follow me on Twitter and DM me. I got you.
Yes, he's always posting about that. Okay, sir. Thank you.
No problem, sis. Enjoy and stay blessed.
You too.
All right.
That's a wrap. That's another show. Thank you for staying. Thank you for listening. Thank you for checking out She Gets It. There is a merch available for you guys to shop at on teespring.com. The link will be in the info section. She Gets It shop is on there. Also, please don't forget to add me. Follow me on IG and Twitter. She Gets It Pod. All right? Hashtag She Gets It. You'll find me. Trust me. On FB, Facebook. Don't forget to add the page, She Gets It Pod. Join the She Gets It affiliates. I would love to have you in there to discuss episodes, discuss thoughts, get that feedback. And please, please don't forget to rate the episode, rate the show. I just want to know, am I going in a direction that you guys are learning something from? Is it something you want to learn more about? I would love to hear y'all feedback. I love the fact that you guys support and listen to me blab and run my mouth. And if you just want to support the show, go to anchor.fm/SheGetsIt/support. Thank you, and I will catch you guys next time. Peace.
Enjoy all your favorite sports like never before at BetMGM. Sign up using code Hawkeye and receive up to $1,500 back in bonus bets if you don't win your first bet. When you register with BetMGM, you'll get instant access to a variety of parlay selection features, live betting options, player props, and the best daily promotions in the business. And with BetMGM at your fingertips, every play and every game matters more than ever. Place your money line, prop, and parlay bets with the king of sportsbooks today. BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly and offer resources to help you make appropriate choices. BetMGM.com for T's and C's. 21 plus to wager. Iowa only. New customer offer. All promotions are subject to qualification and eligibility requirements. Rewards issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets. Bonus bets expire 7 days from issuance. Please gamble responsibly. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-BETS-OFF.